Hey, welcome back to Cooking with Nick. In today's video, I'm trying garlic naan. This Indian flatbread is extremely delicious and pairs well with curries. Garlic naan is usually done in a tandoori oven, but I'm going to show you how I make it at home with just my frying pan and my stove. This takes a bit more effort than say a fried dumpling, but you end up with a really delicious side for all your stews and curries. I won't show you that curry recipe today, maybe in the next video. But for now, let's check out some garlic naan. Alright, let's make our dough. So, in a bowl, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Whole wheat naan is great too, but we're using AP flour for now. For flour, add a tablespoon of cubed softened butter. Melting the butter is okay too, but that's just an extra step. 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. I know my yeast is good, so I'm not blooming in any warm water. 1 teaspoon baking powder, preferably double acting baking powder. Both leaveners work together to give you a soft pillowy bread. Here I'm adding a pinch of salt. You can skip this and sprinkle it on top of the done bread later. Still good, maybe even better. Add about a cup of milk to make the dough. Yogurt is another ingredient you can add, but I prefer naan without it. A tablespoon would be good for this recipe. Personally, I get the best results when I start out with a wet sticky dough, then add flour gradually. We're just going to knead this until it's smooth. It should take about 8 minutes. We're just going to form our done dough into a ball. Wrap and let it sit at room temperature for about 45 minutes to an hour, or overnight in the fridge. Letting it sit overnight gives the best flavors and textures. So while that's resting and rising, we can chop some garlic, which we'll use to top our naan before we cook them. Add that to a bowl. We also want some chopped herbs. I'm using basil, mostly because I have some outside and I couldn't get any cilantro in the supermarket. Cilantro is a herb of choice for naan. Parsley is good too, but whatever herbs you like and can find is fine. Careful not to chop too small or they end up burning. Add chopped herbs to the bowl. Then add about a tablespoon of oil to the based on garlic. Give it a little mix. The garlic will start to flavor the oil while we get our dough ready. Our dough has risen a bit, about 50% more. That's okay, and you can let it rise longer if you want. You would end up with a really puffy bread this way, and I should have maybe let it rest a little longer, but it's fine either way for me. Now I'm just going to roll it out into a log. You can see that it's really soft. That's a good sign. I'm dividing this into 5 roughly equal parts. So what I'm doing now is to shape it into a ball and then try to press it into a roughly circular shape. If the dough gets hard to work with, just let it rest for a few minutes, then come back. Shape isn't important, at least for me, but we want an even thickness, roughly 1/4 inch right across. Now we can spread our garlic herb oil on top of our naan. Try to get it evenly distributed. We don't want large clumps of anything. Now just press that into the dough. A rolling pin works too, but fingers are less messy and less things to clean up. First, I'm trying this with my cast iron pan. I'm going to preheat it. Medium heat is good, and it should cook our naan evenly really quickly because of its thickness. It transfers heat really well. Now we get our naan ready. The bottom to get it to stick to the pan and slow down how quickly it browns. Naan in, wet side down. This is the same technique used in a tandoori oven. Wet the bottom to stick to the sides of the oven. After about 2 minutes there should be some bubbles. As soon as the naan is no longer sticking to the bottom of the pan, turn the heat up on high and flip it. I'm trying to emulate the brown in the tandoori oven would give to the naan. As soon as we get some dark bits on it, we can remove it. A finished naan should still be kind of doughy and chewy and not overdone. That texture is great. Now we brush it with butter and taste this. So much better when you tear it as opposed to cutting it. Something about the texture is different. That's really soft. It's turned out much better than I was expecting. Looks good. If you have had any decently made naan before, you know how addictive they can be. Smells great too. Basil has a strong flavor, but it works really nicely here. Yup, that's good. It's a lot of garlic, but it's really mellow. That's nice. Wow, that was something. But now let's try something different. Press out one of the dough balls and we'll add a large pinch of cheese to the center. Crimp all the edges to enclose the cheese. Lift up and twist, twist, twist. Flip. Now gently press out the dough and try to get the cheese evenly distributed. At the bottom of the dough. The cheese might make some holes, not a big deal. If you can't reseal them, just leave it. Pop into the preheated pan, and oh, I forgot the herb garlic. You can brush it on now while it's in the pan, no biggie. This will take a minute more than the regular naan because it's so thick, but otherwise it's the same steps. Flip it and let it brown on the top and give the cheese a chance to totally melt. Then we can remove it. I used to make these at work a lot. It doesn't look too bad. Just going to brush it with some butter. I think I'm being a bit too generous with the butter. Now let's taste this. Yep, tear it apart, don't cut. I really like cheese pulls, so this is nice. Yep, cheesy garlic naan. Tastes really good, but you won't be able to eat a lot of this. Let's try and get our naan as close to tandoori oven as possible. Roll out and brush with herb garlic oil. Instead of my cast iron pan, I'm using a stainless steel pan on low heat so the naan will stick and stay stuck much longer. My cast iron pan is well seasoned so it's developed a non-stick layer. Let it cook. As soon as it's ready to flip, turn up the heat and flip the pan to brown the top. This will give us a similar flavor and appearance to a tandoori naan. Up on an open flame like this will give it some smoky flavors similar to what happens in a tandoori oven, and it tastes a lot more authentic, and it conveniently stops being sticky after it's done cooking, which is nice. Now remove it and brush it with butter. I've had a lot of butter today. I really like the look of this one. No way you could tell me it wasn't tandoori naan. Looks and smells the same. Texture is also a lot better, partly because this dough has been resting longer, but having the dough stick to the pan throughout the cooking and the quick open flames also help. That's really nice. Yup. Tastes like the real deal. Soft and chewy with a mild smoky flavor. The garlic flavor is mellow and the basil isn't overpowering anything. Yes, this is it. The part of the naan with the burnt bits are the most delicious parts. So I'm having some really spicy curry with my garlic naan for dinner. This is a really good combination. To get the best tear, I actually use my dough scraper to help me tear the naan. It's a neat little trick. Using forks to eat naan is the worst, most boring way to do it, and you're missing half the experience. I've had a lot of fun making this video. Probably gained a few pounds in it too, but I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a try and let me know which naan is your favorite.